Hey everyone, it's Tay, and it's that time again where we take a look back at what I've been up to this month and see what achievements I've been grinding, or hunting should I say. I don't grind, I leave that to Jazzy. That's Jazzy's thing. He can do 100% thing. I'll just grind away and just do the best I can. So, let's take a look at what I've been up to this month. Now, one of the genres I absolutely adore is the beat 'em up, and I friggin' love the beat 'em up. My favourite one of all time is Final Fight, but growing up I didn't have a SNES, I had a Mega Drive, so I never got to play Final Fight 2 and 3, and I had the chance to play Final Fight 2, and I was sure as hell gonna take it, and I was not disappointed. Now, yeah, it's more of the same and the story continues, only with a couple of different characters this time round, but you know what? Final Fight was good. Final Fight was really, really good, so being able to play more of the same again is just my happy place. It's something about these games is just so satisfying. There's Streets of Rage, Double Dragon, all of that. I mean, Double Dragon's your original and probably most famous, but their sequels were perhaps not as good as they could have been, whereas Final Fight and Streets of Rage just got really, really good. And I'll be honest, we got Streets of Rage 4 recently, so I would love to see a Final Fight 4 done in the same way that they did Streets of Rage. Or, if you played it, Shredder's Revenge, Turtle Shredder's Revenge was absolutely fantastic. And you know what, proves that I think that the beat 'em up genre is far from dead. I think there's still a lot of people that will play these type of games. There's a lot of independently made ones which I want to cover in the future. And yeah, I just really like this format. This is really good. It's probably because I never could quite get the hang of beat 'em up of fighting games. So beat 'em ups were like fighting games, only a little bit more simpler. You still feel badass regardless, and you still get to pull off really great moves and beat up big hulking bosses like this, like Freddy here. But you know, yeah, I don't know. I just, for some reason, these clicked, whereas fighting games didn't. Possibly because like the early genre of fighting games or early starts of fighting games they were hard. They didn't really teach you much, whereas these were really good for pick up and play, and that I really do appreciate. Now, this was a sneaky achievement here from Retro Achievements. It's a good one, and it's why I appreciate Retro Achievements, actually. Sometimes they can be really stupidly hard, but here in this case was you had to get to a certain point with avoiding landmines. There's a fair few, and I really appreciate that they took the time to put something like that in, you know. It's not just a case of finish the level or finish the game with using no continues, which, yeah, that's really stupidly hard. But yeah, I like that one. I just really like this game. I absolutely was so chuffed to get to play some more Final Fight, and I'm looking forward to playing Final Fight 3 as well, but I gotta finish Final Fight 2 first, and yeah, that's not as easy as it sounds, because yeah, these games get tough later on. They're no pushovers, that's for sure. But yeah, if you're looking for a good series of beat 'em ups, I think the Final Fight series is the way to go. Although I do have to check out the other Streets of Rage just to check, you know, just to be fair. So I was feeling a little bit in the need to get a little dirty. So I've been going around playing some of the off-roading games that I've got a hold of. This is ATV, one of the ATV games, and I kind of want to see if it grabbed my attention, and it kind of didn't. This is a kind of a position I get into sometimes, where I want to play a style of game, but finding the right game in that style always tends to be a little bit tough. I'm not saying I won't go back to this, it wasn't quite scratching the itch that I had. That itch was pretty much scratched by Colin McRae too, although, judging by the numbers, not many people are into that one, which is a shame. Also, I'm going to apologise now, just in case you can hear any noises in the background. It's a really hot day, and I've got my fans on, and I'm not turning them off. Sorry, not sorry, it's hot and I'm sweaty. So yeah, didn't quite feel this one, which is a shame. Should be fun, might come back to it, but not 100% certain on that one. You know, if you play Final Fight, then you kind of got to play Streets of Rage as well. And I wanted to do something a little bit different this time around. Master System, again, I tend to see that most of the coverage when we talk about stuff like Sonic and Streets of Rage and a lot of the mainstay Sega properties, you are going to talk about the Mega Drive one, which is fine. And fair enough, that is going to be the one that most people know. So that's kind of why I think I deliberately picked like the Master System versions of things, because you know what, it's nice to just do something a little bit different and do the unexpected. Like you can get the the Streets of Rage collection on the Xbox, and I've got it, and you know, it's all the mainstay Mega Drive version. So I just wanted to see what on earth the Master System version of these games was like, and I wasn't disappointed. Yeah, they're not as graphically powerful as the Mega Drive, because you know it's an 8-bit system. This is the equivalent to the NES, but considering when you think of it that way, it looks quite impressive, and I think it looks better than a lot of some of the NES games that were around at the time, because you know they didn't always look pretty fantastic. I mean, yeah, you got your exceptions like your Mario Brothers and your Zeldas and stuff, but Streets of Rage on the Master System I think looks pretty decent. I mean, it's not a patch on the Mega Drive version, and it never was going to be, and you know, summoning in special attacks and stuff, it does slow it down a bit, but still, the fact that the little Master System could put this out and be a reasonable port, a really good port of Streets of Rage, is really impressive. I was really happy with it. It was a lot of fun. I had a great time going through with Blaze and just kicking all sorts of ass, and yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot. The music's good, the graphics are, you know, for what they are, pretty good, and it's nice to actually try out something that's not the go-to for everyone. Like I said, everyone's going to do the Mega Drive version, so for me, I think it feels like a bit of a no-brainer to take a look at the Master System, because the Master System was actually one of the first consoles I had. Okay, sit down, strap in. This is going to be a slightly long one. This is Colin McRae Rally 2. Now, I know a lot of you probably weren't watching the shorts on this, and these are sped up videos, but I have an absolute friggin' love for this game. This is one of those games where I am very nostalgic for, and it was nice that my nostalgia didn't let me down. Well, it sort of did. I don't remember it being as hard as it was, but, you know, that's fine. I'm fine with the game being hard, but this is one of those that I played so much when I was growing up with my friends. You could do the World Championship with like up to 4 players and take it in turns, because this is, if you haven't played a rally game before, it's a beat the clock. It's a fastest lap, if you want. No, it's not laps, it's point-to-point race, but that's the kind of racing games that, even to this day, I still enjoy these rally games. I've got the recent EA spiritual success to this, World Rally Championship, I think it is. I mean, there's tons of rally games out there, but the stuff that's done by Codemasters absolutely just know what they're doing. I kind of get why EA bought them. I also fear for them, because EA bought them, and you know what EA's like. They do tend to close publishers fairly quickly if they don't meet expectations. And that's why everyone's really worried about BioWare at the minute. Considering that at the time of recording anyway, Dragon Age, not Dreadwolf, they changed the name. They changed it to something not as good. Veilguard. Yeah, Veilguard and whatever the new Mass Effect is going to be is pretty much make or break for them. Cody's are probably a little bit safer. What I think we're all hoping for is, alright, yes, you let Codemasters do World Rally Championship, get them on the Need for Speeds, because the Need for Speeds haven't really been living up to the hype of the past. You know, I've just recently gone through Need for Speed Most Wanted, the 2005 version. The good one, the launch one for the 360. And while my nostalgia there was perhaps a little bit misplaced, it was still a fun ride to go through. Same as this. This was an absolute blast to go through. And I did cheat a little bit. I unlocked the cars and the tracks to try and get some of the achievements while playing through, because you know what, I was doing perfectly well and fine on the World Tour, on the World Rally Championship, up until France. Oh boy, do you think you're doing well? Because I'd done Finland so many times. It was like my go-to track. This is why when I'm demonstrating the achievements for all the cars, I'm using Finland. Because that stage is just perfect for showing off what you can do with the cars and how they look and how they behave. But the minute you hit the tight tarmac roads of France, holy hell, that game just decides to hand you your butt in a major fashion. And then it doesn't stop, because I think I'm not certain if it's directly after France, but you go to Australia and there's tight dirt roads that you've got to negotiate, and woof, yeah, this game's tough, but it's that, I suppose for me, rally games are my Dark Souls. It's an odd comparison, but come with me as we go on this journey. I understand the reason why people love the Dark Souls or Souls-like games. It's in the challenge of playing the game, defeating the enemies, defeating the bosses and making progress. I don't find that fun in that particular setting. That's not the kind of thing I like to play that style of game for. I like the power fantasy side of things where it's all over the top, and I went round the tree quite well there. I don't think I was meant to do it that way, but still, as I was saying, you know, I like the power fantasy when it comes to that style. So I like my Dragon Ages or my RPGs where you can become overpowered and do things that way. But when it comes to challenge or challenging games, I tend to enjoy it when it comes to rally. I don't know why. Other racing games don't do it for me. I can't do sim, you know, so Gran Turismo and standard Forza, I get bored of. I can play them, I enjoy them for a little while, but after a while, I just get bored of them. But give me a rally game where it's just me and the clock and just trying to win the race by having it setting the fastest time, getting in better. That I love, and I like the fact that, you know, not so much in this, although it does apply, but this is a single stage, so it's not so as effective, where damage does count. Damage is important, so trying to get through all these races in a clean manner so that you don't mess up the car, so you can still have a high performance car in the next stage and the next stage and the next stage. That appeals to me. Like I said, that's why I like this. This is why I sort of did the weird comparison to Dark Souls, because it's all down to you. You know, you just clip something and it buggers up your suspension or your electrics or your exhaust or something. It's going to make that next stage just that little bit harder, and you roll the car or something. You know, there's always a little something that could go wrong that just makes the game that little bit harder the next time or the next stage. And then you have the choice when you get to through so many stages what you can repair and the time limit you've got, and that just really just hits all the switches for me. It just makes me a very, very happy person. So I absolutely adore it, and I think going back, considering this is PlayStation 1 era, and yes, I know we're emulating, so there's definite improvements, I still think this looks really, really good and plays in such a satisfying manner and such a fun throwback. And seeing some of the cars in here, I don't know if I've got it in this video or it'll be another one, but being able to bomb around in the Mini on a rally track is just one of the best feelings ever. It's just insane how fast that little car goes round these crazy tracks. It is like a whip it with dynamite up its arse. It's so much fun. Or the Cosworth, the Cossie's in here as well, so some of you may be familiar with the Cossie if you played Pro Street. It's an iconic British car, and to be able to do rally in it is so much fun. I've got a smile on my face talking about it, let alone the fact this is Colin friggin' McRae. So you've got the Subaru in here, although technically he was in the Ford Focus when this one came out. But still, you got the Scooby-Doo in there. You've got the Ford Focus. And you've got all these wonderful tracks that just make you think on your feet and try to push you to just be that little bit better. I cannot sing the praises of this game enough. It is so, so good. And like I said, back in the day, I was playing through... Oh, hey, I didn't turn the speed down for this one, so we've got a super speed one. Oh, so much fun. I'm sorry, I was the only one enjoying watching these football races in super speed. It's just crazy. Because this is actually the speed, if you watch real rally, that I swear these rally cars go around, because the balls, the bravery, the insanity of rally drivers. And if you want to see really crazy stuff, look up Type B. There's a reason they don't run that stuff anymore. And it's a little sad, unfortunately. There was some deaths, but you see the cars that they made and the speeds that they were doing around these crazy corners. Rally, there's nothing like rally for me. Rally is just that crazy sport that I adore, and it follows through to the games. The Colin McRae 2 is a classic for a good reason. It holds up really well, and I'm having a ton of fun playing it, although I do need to drop back into it now I've done Need for Speed. So hope you enjoyed this one. Next up is Venba. Now this is a puzzle game and slice of life game, I guess you'd call it. This is a fantastic little game that came out a few months ago, and I absolutely adore it to pieces. I think this is absolutely wonderful, and it's a game that people have missed out on. Now, I don't know whether it's because it is a short game. Unfortunately, people don't want to pay the price for playing a game that's under 2 hours or what, but this I genuinely loved to pieces. So the principle of this is it follows the story of some immigrants in Canada in the late 80s as they try and make their way as a living and as a family. It starts out that we find out that the main character Venba is pregnant because she's not feeling very well. She's not been to her job, and it turns out, oh, she's pregnant. And it's the tale of their life told by important events that happen and meals that happen at the same time, I guess is the best way I can phrase it. And our job is to do the cooking section of that. This is what you can see here where we're making food, and that's the puzzle section, because you have Venba's grandma's cookbook or Venba's mum's book. I'm not sure whose it is. You have the family cookbook, and maybe not all the pages give you all the information, or it's not translated correctly, or things like that. So there's still that puzzle element there as you make these meals, but making these meals is the puzzle and the why is the story, and it works really well. My issue with this is I wanted to know more, because I really like these characters, but I wanted to know more about them and what they were feeling and why they were feeling, because obviously there's the overt things of racism, being an outsider as well, something that I'm familiar with, and like their son has and it comes up later where he doesn't want to take the home cooked dishes to school because he doesn't want to be bullied, he doesn't want to seem different from the kids at school, and how that affects him later in life. And while it's portrayed in interesting ways and you are engaged with it, I would like to have gone deeper and had more with the family and with the characters, just to understand more of what was going on, why they were feeling the way they were feeling, or maybe just seeing outside and seeing what more of their life was like. If anything, I feel this is a good introduction to the Tamale lifestyle and to how they're feeling, and I do want more. So hopefully this was more just like a proof of concept, and we could have a game with more deeper, or expanding on what was going on deeper with the story, because the story is interesting and heartbreaking in places. And yeah, I absolutely thoroughly recommend you getting this. If you have Game Pass, it is on there, so do get it. It is worth your time. Next up is V-Rally 4. Not a lot to say here. This is just a cumulative drifting trophy. I just wanted to throw this in here because I'd picked it up and I thought it was worth throwing in. I did not get on with this one. I have been struggling to find rally games that I do get on with, and this was just not what I was looking for. Shame really. Looks nice, plays fairly okay, just didn't seem to scratch the right kind of itch for me. Maybe it will do for you, but yeah, it's a pass. Don't think I'm coming back to this one, unfortunately. And a classic now, yes, Resident Evil, the original, not the remake. This is the original. Well, technically this is the director's cut. This is the game that they kind of had to put out when they were busy remaking Resident Evil 2. And I don't mean that as in the remake, as in actually, getting 90% of the way through Resident Evil 2 and then having to start all over again. So, picking up a couple of achievements here I didn't know about. This one called Coward I didn't know about, where basically instead of progressing forward like you normally would, you'd run forward with Barry, you have to exit the dining room twice, and you get a different cutscene depending on what happens. So you get Wesker there, and I think Barry will talk to us in a second about us running away.
Lost courage already? It's not like you.
So yeah, I never knew that was an option. It's still to this day, many years later, I played this game so many times that it was fun to find there was stuff I didn't know about. And we're back here with one of the more famous cutscenes where we're first introduced to the zombies that we'll be spending a lot of time with, as well as crows, sharks, hunters, spiders. Yeah, this game has quite a lot going for it. This is such an iconic moment in gaming history, where you round that corner and you get that cutscene of that first zombie. It sticks with you. You forget that, yeah, this game is cheesy. That moment alone is so fantastic. And am I the only one that does this? Doesn't bother with Barry killing it, shoots it, gets the achievement, find an achievement here as well for searching Forest. Forest is... I can't remember which one this one is. I think I'd forgot to get the subtitles up or something, so yeah, I was having issues trying to get this one to work. But yeah, that moment. Resi is such a good game. The first one's so good. It's kind of apt that I follow Resident Evil up with this. Now, this is Super Mario Bros. All Stars. Now, if you had a SNES back in the day, you probably wanted to pick this up, because this is the game that is basically a remake of 1, 2, 3 and the Lost Levels, and depending on which cart you got, you could have got Super Mario World as well. I often think of Resident Evil 1's remake as the gold standard and completely forgetting this existed. This, before Resident Evil, might have been the gold standard of remakes, and it was fairly soon after that. I don't think there was a big gap between... Probably was not a massive gap, like, say, between Resident Evil 2 remake and Resident Evil 2, its original Resident Evil 1 and Resident Evil remake. That was a bit smaller, but yeah, this, I mean, look at this. This is the power of the SNES doing Super Mario Brothers, the first game. This looks amazing. Absolutely fantastic. Just the art alone is stunning and such a step up, because if you've watched my previous videos, you know I've been playing Super Mario Brothers on the NES. Here we are on the SNES, the next generation, and just mind-blowing how much of a difference that step up makes, how beautiful this game looks, how it sounds, how it plays. I mean, just blown away by how good this all is. I mean, just sink it in. Like I said, if you'd seen my previous videos, just think back to those, or just think back to Mario Brothers, and now this on the SNES. Look at it, it's glorious. So I would say this is, you know, gold rank S tier remake category here. You know, up there with a lot of the Resident Evil remakes, apart from Resident Evil 3. That was disappointing, let's be honest. But this is just amazingly good. I'm just sat here watching it, I just can't get over how good the SNES looks. Growing up, I had the Mega Drive, and the Mega Drive looked fantastic, so getting to go and see how the SNES looked, and right, yes, it's through emulation and everything, but still, look how much detail, how much thought has been put into each level just to make it even better than it was before, because the levels were fantastic to begin with and well thought out. But here we've just got that extra bit of power, just that extra push that the SNES could give it, and it's just so cool. Sorry, I just had to boogie down to that. Music's so good. There's nothing else I can say. It's Mario. You love Mario. Mario's a great platformer. It's hard as nails in places, and this remake is just chef's kiss. Absolute chef's kiss. From Mario Brothers to Bluey, I make no apologies. I like playing games and I don't care what type of games they are. I've played Thomas the Tank Engine, I sure as heck can go play Bluey the video game, and Bluey is an absolute staple in our house. You know, it's constantly on. I have seen so many episodes of Bluey, it's ingrained in my mind. And the video game is such a fantastic companion piece to everything that the show brings. If you're familiar with the show, you will love the video game because it just feels like more episodes of the show. It literally feels like more episodes of the show that you're playing. The characters are all voiced by the right actors, the tone, the feel, everything is there, and it's just a fun game to play. Now, if you're an achievement hunter, it is a fairly simple 1000-point game as well, so I do recommend that. It's on Game Pass, so you know you're not having to pay to play it. So if you don't have kids, or you don't want to go in the shop and buy it, it's on Game Pass. But I think it's well worth your time. It's an excellent kids game. My kids actually did play this and enjoy it thoroughly. I had a good time playing it. Longest achievement on here, hunting around, is basically collections. It is one of those where there's lots of collectibles to try and find. They're not hard because, again, it's a kids game, so they're not hugely hidden. I think I had to look up like one or two just to work out where they were, but other than that, yeah, it's really simple, and it's Bluey. How can you not love Bluey? You have no heart if you don't like Bluey, and that's my personal opinion, and I'm sticking to it. But yeah, absolutely fantastic game. Nice and simple, not too challenging, good for you, good for the kids, and if you're an achievement hunter, here's 1000 points for you, with very little work. Hey everyone, thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll be bringing you some more in-depth content instead of just some of the things I've been grinding along the month, some of the stuff that I've actually got done. I am working on a couple of things at the minute. I am trying to get there. They just take a little bit longer because I don't have a lot of free time, unfortunately. So I hope you have enjoyed this video, and remember to like, comment and subscribe, please, because it helps me find more viewers. So thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.